Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So here I am back with another video for you guys. If you guys have seen my last video, we discussed about the error handling in Flow Designer. So today we'll be doing a second part to that one. So we'll be walking through the Flow Designer changes that are introduced at the action level for the ROM release service now. So, coming to the topic, let's start off. So, if you have seen my last video, you might be already aware that I used a new email account flow for the new email account catalog item that we have. And in this, I walked through a couple of actions and then the error handling bit that we have got at the flow level. Now, to demonstrate the working of error handling at the action level and the new changes that have come up at the action level and working with the action error evaluation and the error handler that we have got at the flow level, I'll be creating a custom. Actually, I've already created a custom action. I've and I've named it as send email. Things that have been added at an action level for error handling. So first thing, if you can, so this is a create record step that I have, and I'm just creating. I've just mentioned it to create an incident, and now as you can see here we have if this step fails option. Now in this we have got a couple of options over here. So first is stop the action, go to the error evaluation. So again, I will be coming to error evaluation a bit later on in the video. And don't stop the action, go to the next step. So we can choose either of them. Now, if we select don't stop the action, go to the next step, what it will be doing is this, even if this particular step errors out, it will be going to the next step, which is the email step that we have, right? And now in this particular email, again I am giving out an non a random value over here, which is not an email. So just because I just want this particular step to error out so that we can verify how error handling is working, right? So, and in this one, what I've done is I've mentioned it as stop the action and go to the error evaluation. So even if the first one fails, it will still come to the next step, right? So that's how this particular functionality is, which I particularly feel is pretty cool. And now also, in addition to this, so every step that we have in the particular action also involves a step status object, which in has a code and also has a message linked to it, right? So the create record step has it, the email step has it, right? And also the flow finally gives out a action status code and a message, which is basically one of these codes and a message, right? So again, this code is zero if it's all goes through successfully, and is one if it errors out. And this message can be anything like glide record failed, unable to send email, xyz abc, anything. It can be anything. We are not really sure what's going to happen, but code is always going to be one. So one means error. And similarly for this, and this particular status code and message is being sent out as the action status output. And this action status output, we will be getting this as the output in the flow that we put this action in, right? So we can use this in that particular flow to see what happened, what went wrong. Now, coming to the error evaluation on the left. So, in the error evaluation, what we can do is we can basically, so as I told you earlier, we can basically, we'll be basically getting a code and a message, and that message can be anything, right? It might not make sense directly to the person. It might be 404 page not found, something glide record unable to get the data, like whatever it can be. So but we want the end user or the admin or the person to just see and get an idea directly why exactly this particular action failed, right? So what we can do is we can override the default error status, right? We with a new status code and a status message which comes out from the action into the flow, right? So to start off with, what I'll do is I'll click on the add error condition UI action, and I'll click on this particular bill, right? And I'll involve on step 2 step status and step status. So if the email step status is 1, which is error, ठीक. So we have got an option to don't treat as a error, right? We do have an option to do that as well. And but yeah, right now I want to treat it as a error. So I will be getting a status code of 1, but I want to give it out as 302, right? And I want to give out a message: sending email failed, right? So this is something custom that I want to send out. And yes, and we can also add multiple conditions for different steps that we have. But right now I'll be just doing one and save it, publish, publish. Now, once this is done, I will be going back to the flow, and I will be removing the send email out of the box action that we have, and I will be involving send email. So I will be using the custom send email that I've configured. I'll be clicking as done. So once I have included this, if I go on the right side, you can see that it's giving out a action status object, right? So and a code and a message, right? So now what I'll do is I will save it, activate it. While this is getting done, I will quickly go to the portal and I'll submit a catalog item. Now, once this is done, we'll basically go to the back. So once I'm here, I'll close off the task as we have got the task with. So once this is done, flow context. So now here we are. As you can see, this particular action failed and it has given out a code of 302 sending email failed because our step send email failed due to obvious reason that we have not given the correct email address over there. Now if we go in depth with the steps, right? So the first step went fine. It created an incident with a status code of 0 and a success. Now the second step, email validation failed. Email contained the following invalid recipient addresses, right? So at as you can see at the step level, this particular code is one, and the message is same message that we can see here. Email validation failed. Email contained the following invalid recipient address, right? So now this particular message was overridden by our custom code and a custom message that we have set in the action in the error evaluation bit, right? So this is how it works. We can modify the particular code and the message that we are getting out of the flow as out of the action to the flow. And going forward, we can also, if I go back to the flow, we can also have some logics over here to do some things if our status code or particular step is something. So I will go, I'm in the flow right now, error handler, and I'm adding a if here. So if send email action status code is 302, right? I want to create something like, and to basically create a record. I want to create an incident. Now, when this particular error handling bit is executed, right, it will also check, okay, so error occurred at this particular and the code is 302. It will create a separate incident for that, right? So this is basically how we can work around with the error handling around flow and action, and back from the action to the flow. And we can again have multiple conditions over here for every particular action that we have. If the create catalog task action status is action status code is one, we can have a if condition. So yeah, we can play around with it. And yes, so to summarize this in, we have got action, we have got options to select what to do at a step level in the action. Stop the action, go to the error resolution, don't stop, go to the next step, right? And also every particular step in the action gives out a code and a message, which is either 0 or 1. And 1 is for error, 0 is for a successful execution. And in addition to this, we have got the error evaluation where we can override the default error status coming out from that particular step. And this action status code and action status message is further sent out to our flow where we are using this action just in case that particular condition is met and the error is occurred, right? And further down, we can also add conditions in our own error handling at the flow level to cater something special for this particular error if it occurs. Yep, that's all. That's all for the error handling with the action and the flows. So thanks for watching.